Okay, continuing forward on the realms or chakras, planetary, individualized consciousness. What is it one transits through? Okay. Number 4, mindset or realm to transit is that of heart awareness. Heart awareness. In this level come the ones whom are either out for themselves or, on the other end of the spectrum, those that are the humble servants of humanity. Okay? Those that have no heart opening are only wrapped up within their own identification and self-serving motions and motives. And that's what we see again paramount in Trump. Man, is Trump a great visual as to the negative in all of these. Okay, so let's go forward with this. There is no compassion for others nor thought about anyone's welfare except for their own. These are those that prey upon society to fill a hole that will not be filled, such as Epstein preying on these children, preying on this thing to fill some hole that will never be filled. And he's got it wrapped up with, with this fight or flight, this, just this bottom first chakra of trying to survival. So this is where these predators are. Survival. They only have for themselves. They have no heart opening whatsoever. They don't even cognize any of that when they are in the total negative of it. Okay. There is no compassion for others nor thought about anyone's welfare except their own. These are those that prey upon society to fill a hole that will not be filled. Then there are the opposite end of the spectrum, the do-gooders, that perform all the right outer actions but are doing it for self-recognition. These are the humble martyr types, dripping with humility and good works. Unfortunately, the motive is just look at how humble I am. Many want to save the world, though they cannot save themselves, and they live in misery. This is a huge hurdle within the spiritual path. Some attempt to help others as a way to fill the hole or gap of pain that they themselves live within. The wounded teachers, okay? Some confuse agape love with sexuality and wind up attempting to live within two realms at once. Some think that love means saving the world whether the world wants it or not. Okay. A balance in this area consists of resting within a total wholeness and contentedness within yourself and all life. Moving in a spontaneous motion, compassion and empathy will occur as needed. Agape love is not grasping, but a contented knowing that all are simply of that one. Love is a sharing of who you are, what you are, and giving what is needed in an appropriate way without looking for the rewards. Okay? So, number 5, mindset or realm to transition is that of creative endeavor, vibrations. Okay? This is the land of the dark void, bliss, or poison. This is where words may come through and the insights of various texts may become clear. Here is where you create by voice patterns of energy. All creation is simply energy moved by mind and conceptualization. Here is where you live and speak your truth or error. Here you actively enter creation. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Word makes creationary drama. As you change your focus, your language will also change. You are what you speak. And this is where another one of the writings comes in. Why the silence? Why not mine? Why you cannot speak of realization? Because all words create the transitory realm. Realization is beyond words. It's within that stilled silence, that absolute perception of direct consciousness. Okay? Any word takes it out of that and into the transitory realm. Okay? So let's go forward. All of creation comes from vibrational patterns. This is the realm wherein you focus on the positive or negative and project it by the spoken word. Here the words and wisdoms may come as concepts and glimmers, but do not think that they are what you are seeking. There is still further to go. So do not turn away from inquiry and mindfulness yet. There is yet further to go on the path. Here is the danger of equating knowing about with knowing. Om, the highest mantra that takes one from division to pointed focus. Om takes one from sound to silence. Om takes one to the subtle, formless. A balance in this area is one where imbalance is entered, where one no longer chases positives or negatives, where spontaneous words of compassion and wisdom flow. Okay. So this is where, this realm is where a lot of more psychics are, etc. The words come through. There's that heart opening. They're transiting both of those. Okay. Next is the mental set realm and subtle realms. Okay, so this is, again, this is where a lot of psychics are. Heart, throat, third eye. Heart, throat, third eye. Okay. In this realm, one enters into subtle phenomena. Lights, astral planes, cities. This is the land of the last crossing. Mara, or intellectual delusion, plays very subtle tricks to keep the ego in play. Here ego can be seen through. Here is where the cities must be let go of. Cities are the powers, okay, that one can develop within these realms, okay. Here is where the mind either goes off on subtle experience or surrenders to the silence and one. All phenomena is of the realm of creation. To reach beyond creation and creator to source, this realm must be passed through. Here is the last great barrier. Here it is that you must be diligent and not be pulled into the world of too much the psychic and paranormal. Okay. Now, please don't go off when I say don't get pulled too much into the psychic and paranormal. Let me continue to get through this, okay? Here is where you must be firm in your commitment to turn your back on cities and powers. Here is the place where surrender is paramount. When neti or not this should be used when phenomena starts to pull you in, it is here where you can start to lose self-identity and can begin to enter into this Sarvikalpa Samadhi. When balanced, intellectual mind play ends and stilled awareness prevails. What is required comes from as required. Nothing need be held. Sarvikalpa Samadhi is found here. Okay, so when I'm talking about getting into too much psychic things and stuff like that, I'm talking about, trying to stay in this astral projections, okay? some you can get into these powers and can wind up with some of these dark entities, and you can create endless realms of gods, goddesses, etc. Okay, while they're fabulous, and also they will be very real. Okay, you'll see them just as clear as you see somebody standing. Okay, but these can be stumbling blocks if one is not continuing the journey, if one stays stuck in phenomena and not willing to transit through it. Okay, so let's continue forward. Number 7 realm is entered here, beyond the mind. Okay, here in this realm, one enters into non-duality. One passes through the demise of the false egoic mind and conditionings. Blown out and shattered, what remains is the non-dual reality. Here is where one goes beyond mind and the senses into a nirvikalpa samadhi, into the primal source or essence that is beyond birth and death. Within here, all is stripped bare, then spit back and life as a new creation. From here, one will descend back either into the heart or wisdom. There will be spontaneous action, which has no center. This is the end of the search, but the beginning of life. Balance is when Sahaj Samadhi remains, where Advaita Dvaita are ever non-dual in nature. So Advaita Dvaita, for those that don't know, Dvaita is the seen world, the transitory Shakti that's been subdivided into forms. All of the energy and the vibration takes on color by how quickly it's color and form by how quickly or slowly it is vibrating. Okay. But you are always conscious. Excuse me, you're always consciously aware of that zero, that infinite seed, which is at the center of all it. The infinite seed it moves so fast that it appears to not move. Okay, it's the stabilizing factor that's in the midst of all of creation. So when you enter into realization, this dual, non-dual realm, okay, there is a center point. You become like a gyroscope, okay? It's like a gyroscope. It's spinning, but it's still in the center, and it's unmoving. No matter which way it moves, it's got a still center which holds it, which holds its balance in place. Okay? So let's go forward. There will be spontaneous action which has no center. This is the end of the search, but the beginning of life, okay? Within integration within Nirvikalpa Sahaj Samadhi, the world of phenomena and transient are known to be empty in nature, and liberation remains if conditionings and egoic mind are not pulled back into. Okay. So, okay. Okay, so I'm going to read one more part of this real quick on fears and entities during the Kundalini experience. So take this for what it's worth. It's from my own personal experience with it. During the Kundalini process, for a couple of months, I lived in absolute fear and terror. This thing would come like an evil energy that would be so close as to surround me. And I would be in terror At one point, literally on the floor, crouched in a fetal position with my hands covering my head, and I was surprised that my hair didn't turn white overnight due to the terror. There was at the time an irrational fear that if I touched my daughter, she might become possessed. So, I mean, these terrors will come. That is something you have to face and you have to transition through. So, how do you get through it? Okay? What I found was that in fighting this thing, if you want to fight these evils, these negative things, the intensity only grows. Okay? What works is, in the end, was an absolute surrendering to God, absolute surrendering, and just sitting through it, seeing it without reaction. It's all only illusions of the mind. But make no mistake, it feels absolutely real and concrete at the time. But it is all the fears and conditionings coming to a head and manifesting in your face literally. It will dissipate as the illusion that it is when you can just sit through the experience without giving it any energy. It's all a play of mind, and we must walk through our terrors to see that they are only illusions. So, have no fear, just face it head on and give it no energy. Just submit all to God, and then let it come. And it will dissipate. Your fear fuels the fire. Fear fuels it, feeds it. Okay? You'll make it through. Just let go of the fear and trust God within, and the illusion will shatter. Okay? So again, all of these things that one transitions, there are many things that will come up that you can tell where somebody is at in the process. If you are in the process of these things awakening, you'll have lots of dreams of snakes. You'll have dreams of fires. As the ego starts to deconstruct, and you start facing some of those fears, and the ego starts to deconstruct, you'll have buildings exploding, mountains exploding, those types of dreams, and things will come to the surface to be seen. You'll have vehicles. Vehicles are usually representing the body. Like one dream that came up when I was transitioning through all of this stuff was a taxi, a car filled with snakes. I mean, the body was just, Kundalini was just going rampant at that time. Okay? And you open it up, and I mean, just, this vehicle was packed. was packed. All of them came out, you know. And so again, these are things that as one is transitioning through, there will be pretty commonality of some dreams that will come up, and then you can see what is being transitioned through at that time, you know. There are other things that are wonderful when you get to that point of awareness. When you have lucid dreaming and you go in and you fly and you do all these fabulous things, waterways, clear, endless waterways that you can see, and you're flying through waterways. I mean, you know, there's some fabulous things that are taking place too. You know, don't be surprised. You know, you're driving your car, and the next second your consciousness is above the trees, you know, seeing vast distances. Okay? Sometimes it just feels like you're on autopilot. Okay? It just goes. You know. So anyway, these are all things that happen if you are walking that path of the mystic, okay, and you're transiting. But you could see where most of the planetary consciousness is in. Now, once we have that are teachers, we have those that are readers, psychics, etc., okay, giving whatever they are getting because they are transiting that realm, okay, they're here transiting this realm, okay, so they are able to bring back knowledge. Some are like a radio, they are getting this knowledge by connection, okay, so it's filtering through, whether it's through emotional and you're an empath, or it's auditory, or you're seeing visually, or like in my case that it's just knowing. It's a it's called claircognizant. It's just something that's known. It's just, it pops in, it's just there. Okay. So all of these things are there to, again, aiding humanity, to stabilize them, to bring them through this point of saying, look, don't fear, take a breath, we're going to transition through this, okay? So I hope you've gotten something from this. If you enjoyed this, please give a thumbs up, and everyone is in their journey somewhere in the midst of it, but hopefully through this today you could see, where the planetary as a whole is transitioning, what levels they're caught in now, what they're transiting, and where we're headed, what's up ahead. You can see what the road is ahead, okay? So again, don't lose hope. In the end, when all of these things are transitioned through, there is liberation, okay? And then once this planet is liberated, we will go through another whole cycle of experiences, okay? So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Have a great day. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have enjoyed this, you have learned something from it, a donation is very much appreciated, because I do not have a money tree outside that I go collect money from. So I'll leave this here. Thanks for tuning in. For the new subscribers, welcome. For those that have been here for quite a while, always good to have you here. For those that are interested in the book, it's called Kundalini From Hell to Heaven. It was written out of my own journey and what I had found along the way, and what I want to share and give back to humanity, to those that are in the midst of the journey, that are not having balanced guidance. So this can be found on Amazon quite easily. And even those that are not in the midst of Kundalini, I think that it really can also help you to understand the journey and get a handle on some things as well. Okay. Look at that picture on the back. I was heavy then. Oh my God. Have I made some changes? Yes, it is me. Yes, it is. I'm going to leave that to rest there for a while. So have a great day. I'll see you online. Aho.